So, what I find really interesting about Kali is that to me, the core of her is allowing that ferocious love that she is to go on the inside towards self-love. And we're going to do some of that today because, if you just look at the work of the shadow, and, I think for those of you that know Debbie Ford, who's no longer on this planet, but she to me was just genius in terms of writing about the shadow are all those parts of ourselves that everybody has that's so easily projected onto the other. So it's like, oh, I hate that person. They're always so bossy. I hate that person. They're so disrespectful. I hate that person. They're disgusting. But when you actually go inside, the reason there's that hatred is because there's always something that resonates. Otherwise, there wouldn't be hatred. There wouldn't be, it wouldn't be like, oh, this is all good. This person is some racist, sexist, horrible being. I think it's all good. It's not that. But the hatred, the vitriol, the hatred of the other, to me, is always the projection of the inner shadow. You can act very vigorously in the world to be a force of love and to counter terrible limiting views. But the hatred, I know somebody, I've known her for a long time, and she's always talking about how disgusting certain people are and how horrible they are. And that's the projection of the hatred, the shadow. So one of the things that I think is one of the deepest things that communion with this Kali dark goddess can do is you can start to turn the lens on the inside and say, show me how to love myself. Heal the self-hatred. She gets mistaken. I was saying it, on Monday. She gets mistaken for, oh, I'm tapping my inner Kali. Now I'm just ferocious. I'm going to go ahead around just sending hatred everywhere and ripping people's heads off. And I'm like, well, actually, if you take the lens of that ferocious love on the inside, she shows you what you hate inside you. That's what we're going to do today. And how to begin to send love to that. Because that's the shadow. Whatever you hate most on the inside. Wow. Could you hear that? There's some kid outside my door who's just going, ah, screaming at the top of his lungs, which doesn't happen here too often. So you're really going inside with that ferocious love. We'll do it in a few moments. To contact what is that part that we reject, that we hate, that we learn to despise on the inside. Because over and over until it's sort of re-owned, and then Kali, she kind of eats it up and then spits it back out as love. She is this process of transfiguration. I mean, in a sense, you could say Kali is very related to Jesus dying on the cross and being reborn on Easter Day. She's the process of the death leading into a radiant rebirth. So it can be applied directly to the inner landscape, because if all you're doing is seeing her as like, I'm just going to go around and I just hate everybody and I hate what's happening politically and everybody's disgusting and I hate all these people, you get nowhere on the spiritual realm. All it is a projection of the shadow. Kali would say, just from that level of the internal Kali, go inside and bring this ferocious love to that shadow, not to deny it, but to re-own it, to allow it. Because then, when you come back out to deal with the world, you can be very honest. You can even be very fiery. but you're not coming from hatred because you no longer hate yourself. That's that's to me has really been the process with her.